Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our podcast.
And today's podcast, we're covering the Marvel movie, The Fantastic Four First Steps. Finally!
Yes, now this movie officially brings a new version of the Fantastic Four to the MCU, and is set in a retro, futuristic world of the 1960s, similar to The Incredibles.
Yes.
Where the team must protect the Earth from being devoured by Galactus and prevent the Silver Surfer from taking Reed and Sue's newborn son. Yes, this is actually the plot. If you read the comics, you probably already know.
Right.
But before we start,
be sure to like, subscribe, and notifications on future podcasts and all the Paws videos.
And thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, commenting everything we do. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Playmaker, thank you for getting us to watch it.
Yes. So, this is one of those movies that everyone sort of had trepidations about because, according to the internet, there's never been a good Fantastic Four movie. We beg to differ. We like the 2005 and either 6 and 7, whichever year the sequel came out. We enjoy those films, and it's got its own cult fine. But for a majority of the internet, they've never had a good one, and they wanted this one to be good and break the curse of bad Fantastic Four films. And so when it came out, it immediately got 100%. So I was like, yay, it was a success. So like, are you sure? Did you watch it? You just like rate it?
Well, if it's Rotten Tomatoes, we know they're rotten. Sorry.
Ooh.
However, we did watch it, and we were pleasantly pleased with some of the aspects. Not everything, guys, but there was a lot that we thought was done very well. I personally still like the original version best.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
And as we get into it, there's a lot of elements from the other two movies that from the 2000s that were used in here when we get to certain events of the film.
Absolutely. So it wasn't a total crap fest as
Right.
people claim, otherwise it wouldn't have used the content.
Right.
So for those of you not familiar with the Fantastic Four First Steps, it's a 2025 American woohoo superhero film based on the Marvel Comics superhero team, the Fantastic Four. This was produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. And it's the 37th film, believe it or not, in the MCU. And the second reboot of Fantastic Four. We're going to pretend that first reboot never happened.
Yep.
So this story was written by 4 different people, with a screenplay by 4 different people, directed by Matt Shakman, and produced by Kevin Feige.
Mm-hmm.
The stars we'll get to later. The cinematography is done by Jess Hall. It was beautiful, absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Movie has a running time of 114 minutes. It was originally released at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion July 21st of 2025, and in the rest of the U.S. July 25th. And they had a budget of $200 million. Again,
What?
sorry, Disney, too much money.
That was $200 million?
Infinity
Maybe
Castle did it for 20. I'm sorry I keep going to that, but
maybe they're saying it took a lot for the sets because of how immaculate it looks and hyper detailed. I'm gonna guess is what they're gonna say.
Godzilla
-1.
it was made for $15 million. Just putting that out there.
Okay.
But it had a box office of over $521 million, so it was a fantastic success. Made more than double, almost double what it took to make it.
Yeah, it's true. And
I should say almost triple.
yeah, actually almost triple.
Yeah, almost triple.
And full disclosure with this one, we've seen, I think all the other Fantastic Four films,
We have.
I think minus the one they said that was never released in theaters. That's the only one we haven't tried.
If you guys have a link to it somewhere, even on YouTube, put it in the comments for us to watch.
Right. We watched the 2000 films. We watched 2015, which, so bad didn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
And now we have this. And with this one, they established that there is not it's not their origin in here. They tell it briefly, like through archival footage on TV, like when they do little backstories on them for a talk show. They tell you through there, the event's still the same. But because they've told the story 2 other times in 2 other films, they decided, okay, no, we don't need to do it. You already know it. We're just going to skip to where they're already heroes and they're famous and everything. So all that's been taken out.
But to me, they kind of still did it because you got to see them, like a little clip of them
Yeah, they had
when
the
they were in
TV.
space. Exactly. So you did kind of get a little mini one still, but
Yeah.
just not one that was dedicated with a bunch of scenes and
Right.
took a lot of time.
Right. And this one was really praised for being more comic accurate. And that's the huge thing that this was attached to the movie. Is comic accurate, comic accurate, comic accurate, comic accurate. Well, I'm sorry. Some things just should not be comic accurate. But we'll get to that. But we will say that this did feel more like it nailed the style of the time period and that fun feeling for majority of the time. And they even did a whole little montage where they fought all of these old retro villains that the comics had. You didn't see a lot of them. The biggest one people want to see was Mole Man, and they got it.
And again, I thought of The Incredibles. Now, this probably was the inspiration for The Incredibles.
It was.
But I love how they paid an homage to The Incredibles itself by setting up the film in a similar fashion. So it's great.
Which is hilarious. They say, oh, Incredibles copy Fantastic Four. It's like, no, that was the inspiration. They already told you. Like, I guess people forgot.
Yes. So, something interesting, in case you don't know, 20th Century Fox had already began working on a reboot after the failure of the 2015, which doesn't exist.
Right.
So after Disney acquired the studio in 2019 and control was transferred to Marvel Studios, then they announced the new film in July of that year. So they were set to have another director in 2020, but he stepped down and then Shackman replaced him. So filming took place from February to November of 2024 in Pinewood Studios in England and on location in England and in Spain. So it wasn't made here, guys.
Right. And they actually said they were going to do that quite a while ago, start filming in other countries to do the movies.
Tax breaks.
Yeah. Well, for in here, I guess they made sure it looked like it was taking place somewhere else altogether, since this is supposed to be a whole different Earth. And one of the biggest things that were praised was the castings for the Fantastic Four team. And in the trailers, they kept advertising that it's about family. Like, they went Fast and Furious on this, even though they mocked it. That it's a team that's also a family. They're going to save the world as a family. And the family's going bigger. They had to take a shot every time they said the word family. Because this wants you to establish this is a family movie with a family team. Except for the parts where it wasn't.
Right. And there were some parts where it definitely was not.
But I will say, for the ones they have chosen for this version of the team, they did a good job in the casting, and performances weren't bad. We still like the original team they had in 2005, but for the ones they picked here, they performed very well, and some of the updates weren't even bad that they did to some of the characters. Because we heard about how soon others are going to be changed, and we could have done without those, but for the most part, they kept it down to a minimum of doing too many changes that would piss off people.
Now I want to get to the music. So the soundtrack was composed by Michael Giacchino, and it was actually released as a free digital download and then released as a 7-inch vinyl. The music was great.
Yes.
And
very much
fantastic job.
Yes. I think I still really love hearing the original where it sounds like an epic orchestra when the movie starts. That's still my favorite. But I do like the vibe they had in here to fit the tone and the style of this film. So this did a good job too.
Definitely. So we know marketing was done well for it. Marketing was up the wazoo. It was everywhere.
Yep.
It was even on other apps.
Yes.
And channels, all network channels and billboards everywhere, and they made sure that this movie got the marketing that it deserved. And recently Disney hasn't been doing that. Marvel hasn't been doing that.
Yeah, true.
So you know that their intent was to make a lot of money on this because they put a lot of money into the marketing, which is sad when you think about it. And I say that because there are other movies that people actually like from Disney and Marvel that don't get the attention. For example, like Zootopia 2.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy about it personally, but there are people that are looking forward to it and love the idea and love the franchise.
Right.
The movie's not getting any marketing whatsoever.
Right.
And there are others. So it seems like they have favorites that they put their attention to and their money toward.
Yeah.
That they want to garner the most money. And then they have little pet projects like Zootopia.
Yeah.
Where what we get is what we get. We're
Yeah.
not going to put money into it. And again, that's unfortunate. And personally think a bad way to look at your content. You should put your effort and money into marketing all of it.
Yeah. And that would help in the long run when it comes to any project you put out. Now for this one, it half relied on word of mouth when it got closer to the release date because so much stuff came out. And when you look at the movie, a lot of it didn't match how the trailers were. The trailers had something else completely different. All I wanted you to know, this was nothing like the other films that came before. It was going to be totally different. It was going to be upbeat and happy, and you were going to love it. And for the most part, yes, you did. But they still had their really tense and dark moments, especially got to like the third act of the film. Now, when they have the movie start off, as I said, they do a little bit of the origin, and the Fantastic Four are superheroes, and they're famous, and a lot of people love them. They're like Tiger and Bunny with the celebrities. But as the movie goes on, they also adapt the storyline where Sue is pregnant. And this became slightly controversial, not because it wasn't comic accurate or anything, but because there were statements in interviews on how the character Sue was treated in the original comics, like back when it was new and it was in the time period that it was taking place, and how she was portrayed. People didn't have a problem with it really, but they saw it was. So they made sure to establish that both Sue and Reed were career people. Reed is still a scientist in here. They kept that in. Sue is a career woman to say she's involved in politics and stuff. I guess so. She does something like I don't know. Ben, I guess Ben's more of like local celebrity just for him being the thing, and they want him to say the catchphrase he refused to say. And then Johnny is, I guess, well, he's not a bad boy in here because they said that's outdated. So he's just sort of the literal hot guy women like, because he's very respectful and nice towards women. Like, okay, we get it. You don't like Chris Evans, Johnny
That's
Storm.
debatable. That's
debatable.
Because when I was watching it, that's not how I was looking at him. That's debatable. I personally think that each of them played the roles differently.
Yes.
And that's it.
That's it.
But no, I wasn't looking at him as a hot guy. Sorry,
Well, he's
guy.
on fire. That's what I mean. Like, well, he's hot.
Okay,
in
then
that
he's
aspect.
hot.
He's hot in that aspect.
Yeah.
And then we get to the storyline where we have Galactus coming in. And that was the biggest thing. And we saw that was an issue for the other film.
Right. And you had a lot of things happen before that. They really made an effort to set up their relevance in the world.
Yes.
And letting you get to know them each as characters in the context of this movie. I can say they did a great job at that because you weren't left with a lot of questions by the time it got to Galactus.
Yes.
Number two, I was doubting they were going to be able to pull off the family element and the happy feel. I was wrong. They did pull it off.
And thank
goodness.
goodness.
They did pull it off. Yes, and I was very happy about that.
Yes.
It took a while for me to get used to the powder blue uniforms that they had
but it's
on.
comic accurate.
But
Before
it's
someone
comic
says it's comic accurate.
Right. But I got used to them. And as I did mention earlier, the cinematography was absolutely beautiful. You could tell they put a lot of effort into making the sound stage and the environment, the locales. They really thought about it, and they really made an effort to make it something special. And whether you like the movie or not, you got to acknowledge that. If you don't, then you're just being a jerk.
Right.
It was really well prepared, well thought out, and well received, of course, and also presented very well.
Right. And that brings us to, like you said, the storyline, the main storyline of it. Galactus coming to destroy the Earth. And first comes in the Silver Surfer, who is the Shara version instead of the Norrin Rad, which people were not too happy, and I don't blame them, because we get to the part where a lot of this movie towards the third act, and in the third act, was completely lifted from Rise of the Silver Surfer movie.
Absolutely.
And that movie was sort of trashed on a bit because it was, considered slow and different things. But the one thing people agreed on is that it had a perfect Silver Surfer, but a terrible Galactus. And after rewatching it, it's like, oh gosh, why is Galactus was a cloud? Why?
We agree.
And then we got to here, and it seems like people seen it's now the reverse. We got a perfect Galactus and a not great Silver Surfer.
Right.
But I guess for some, they accept it's just a female version, that's it.
But it's also just one version that appeared.
Yeah.
The male version was
and
the
a minor
one that
one.
was used the most.
Right.
Exactly. And she really didn't have a major part in here.
Just trying to get the baby, and that's it.
Right.
Not trying to tear down the character or anything, but all this build-up they have for being female Silver Surfer.
I thought she'd have more of an appearance and a presence in the movie.
Yeah, and that's it. But they like to ship her with Johnny, so I guess that's something for them.
And I thought it was funny personally because his character hits on all the women, and I thought it was funny when he hit on an intergalactic silver woman on a surfboard. That was not a problem for him either, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I guess it's accepting of all types.
I thought that was funny.
And then you see when this part, when Silver Surfer comes in, so much of the film lifts from Rise of the Silver Surfer. It's on like a massive scale, like down to fight scenes, chase scenes, the final battle, the dialogue. It's almost word for word. It's like eerie that it was literally just that movie repackaged and gender swapped to the point where you're like, okay, did you actually do anything from the comic or you just take from the movie? And it wasn't bad in a sense, but it was just like they spent all this time telling you this is going to be the superior version 2005. They already killed off all the characters from that version because they don't want to bring them back in Deadpool and Wolverine. But they spent so much time telling you this is going to be the best one. We're not going to use those other versions. 2015 doesn't exist. This is going to be the best version you've ever seen. It's going to be original. Then they take from that one you said was the worst movie and then say, oh, it's a new story.
Absolutely. So much for totally original. However, it did work in the framework of the movie.
Yes.
Now, getting to Galactus. Before this movie, I personally didn't know anything about the baby. And him being like Jack and all powerful.
Oh, it makes sense
now. And that's
now.
why Galactus wanted him. And he was going to rear him as his own. It's like, can you stop this in these movies? I know this is comic accurate, but it's become so worn out in other franchises and movies. Everybody's done it. So it looks like this was one of the first franchises to do it in the comics.
Yeah.
So it made sense now when I had seen The Incredibles and didn't understand that was a reference.
Yes.
So that was interesting. Another thing about that is how they were choosing to try to keep Galactus away from the baby. It was really odd. The mind frame they were in, what they were going to do, and the devices they were going to use to transport themselves and try to keep away for the baby like Bluey.
Yeah. Well,
and you knew already before it even failed in the movie that when you were hearing it, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also understand that Sue's actress was actually pregnant in real life, so it was more authentic, which we thought actually was a cool idea. The thing that was a little off-putting were two things. One, Galactus forced the baby out. And like, what? Like she's having it right now. Like, what? Why? And the whole thing, I think, was supposed to be sort of funny and like a together moment where they're trying to save her and get out, and it's like an intense family moment. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing that. And then came probably the most off-putting moment in the entire film. Not the final battle. It's stuff leading up to it. They tell the city, and I guess the world, as they're claiming in here, that, after the baby's born and they've rested and they tell them what's going on, that Galactus said, you can spare the planet if you give me your child. They said no. The city is pissed off at them because they didn't give away their child. And we were sitting and looking like, half of these people in this town have families and there's children we've seen all everywhere. But you're upset that they didn't give away their newborn child to an alien being but you want to protect your children from the alien being. What sense does that make?
It was Powerpuff Girls, your fault, and MHA when they were mad at Deku because he wouldn't just give himself over to All for One and spare them. It's like,
what's wrong with you people? Yeah, that seemed like the weirdest plot hole in the whole movie. It's not like it ruins the rest of it, but because they eventually get them to come around. But like, why did it take this big speech for you to turn around? You all have kids, and
this was supposed to be the 50s, right?
The 60s.
60s. I'm sorry, a more innocent time, but they didn't act like it. They acted like they were in the 2025.
Oh, they said they didn't want to do that, and
they succeeded because it didn't work. It should have been a whole different reaction.
Yeah.
If you're gonna say you're gonna do a time period movie, I really wanted to be like that time period.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive. However, we've seen enough movies and things where you know that's not the reaction and the way it would have played out. And they kind of started doing like, at first, Stranger Things was accurate the first couple seasons. And then they started going off the rails too.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of movies where you tell me, we don't want to do that, then you shouldn't do the time period.
Exactly.
That's just my 2 cents. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
And my final comment for this section would be that I kept laughing because they had Ben holding the baby, John holding the baby, and sometimes it was real, sometimes it was computer generated, I guess, just to be sure. What I kept laughing at is Mom said, you just had your child. It's kind of weird you don't hold your newborn child and you just had him. We gotta focus on our careers here. The world is at stake. We can't worry about our child that was just born last week.
I found that very weird. Very, very weird. And I could not relate to that. And then my last comment on that section is, I thought it was hilarious when she kept making the same exact sound she made when she had the baby as when she fought Galactus. It sounds exactly the same.
It's like, what
is it, like childbirth fighting Galactus?
Right, it's like, that's strenuous, I guess. All right.
Strike me as odd, but hey. So we know that it was successful, and it had originally been projected to earn between 100 and 110 million at the domestic box office, with an additional 9 to 100 million overseas. As we know, it broke the records. And that's a good thing, especially for fans of this particular franchise who've been reading the comics for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Rotten Tomatoes, who's still rotten, gave it an 86% rating and an A-.
Okay.
And First Steps was nominated for the most anticipated film at the 8th Astra Mid-Season Movie Awards, but lost to Wicked for Good.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird.
Yeah, weird.
So, I think they did a very good job in bringing this movie out. We remember that Superman and it were pitted against each other, and people started saying, you really should just watch them as two superhero movies and be grateful.
Yes.
And after we watched both, we agree, because they're totally different movies.
That's correct.
They're like apples and oranges, so comparing them is stupid. And each of them have their own merits and their weaknesses, but they're both entertaining and both made for a great summer 2025.
Yes.
And it's something that people, they were expecting, but not expecting it to be like Barbie and Oppenheimer. They were trying to put it in the same category.
Right.
So, a sequel to First Steps was reported to be in development in June of 2025. And in August, Snyder reported that Shackman was expected to return to direct the sequel. And Marvel Studios believes will perform better, they say, financially, than the first movie.
Oh, so they weren't happy with the box office.
They never are. They're greedy.
Okay.
Sorry, Kyle. They're greedy. They're never satisfied. They're greedy. So let's go through the cast quickly, because we never can leave without addressing the cast and giving them credit. We have Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, described as a highly intelligent scientist and leader of the Fantastic Four. And he was described as a combination of Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, and Robert Moses.
Really? Okay.
They definitely made him act differently from Ian Grufford's performance. I'll say that.
Yes.
And he was different.
Yes, very, very different. And I think some people even noticed he didn't use his stretching powers that much in here. Like a few times. And that was it. He was totally normal the whole movie. You almost forgot he had the powers. Almost like he was just himself most of the time. Yeah. But hey, maybe that's how they wanted to portray it this film.
Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. As we mentioned, she was pregnant. We know she's Johnny's sister. and she takes on the negative persona. The actress said she was obsessed with the comics, where Sue takes on the negative persona of Malice.
Yeah.
And she included elements of that version in her portrayal of Sue.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want to be stereotyped as a goody, sweet mother. Well, you know what?
Well,
there's lots of goody, sweet moms that deserve a whole lot of credit.
Well,
and if that's the way you look at it, fine. But you didn't need to insult those goody, sweet moms.
Yeah,
Sorry.
which was a little weird to hear. That's what people were kind of concerned, like, what do you mean? And I think that's probably why she didn't hold the son that much in the movie. She wasn't affectionate on purpose because she was using this portrayal in the character.
And her performance was definitely different from Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
They definitely performed differently. And we know that Alba wasn't pregnant, nor going to get pregnant in either of the movies. So she did perform it as more of an independent woman.
Yeah.
And personally, what I think, and guys don't at me, I think Vanessa Kirby probably was thinking about that and didn't want to be outdone.
Well,
because she got to be the independent single woman a while before she married Reed, and she wanted to have the same kind of performance.
I guess so.
You know, that's unfortunate because she probably could have done justice to it if she had done it in the way it was intentionally meant to be.
Right.
We have Ebon Moss-Bacharach as Ben Grimm the Thing, Reed's best friend, a former astronaut, of course a member of the team.
Right.
And he portrays the Thing through motion capture and CGI imagery rather than prosthetic makeup.
Yes.
I don't know how you guys felt about that.
I think so. So here's the thing. I think some people liked it because it looked more natural and form-fitting, like it looked like the comic. And others preferred the actual bodysuit that was in the 2005 version. I do like the suit because it was actually real. But for the animation they did on him in here, I think it looked good enough.
Absolutely.
And it didn't look like it was leaning too much into being uncanny or not realistic.
I agree. We have Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, Human Torch, Sue's younger brother. And Quinn was a fan of Chris Evans' portrayal, but he didn't base his portrayal on Evans. He and Kevin Feige discussed Johnny's womanizing and
he just
decided
flirted.
they wanted to be less callous. And they said Johnny is also smart and heroic, despite undercutting that with jokes. So basically they're saying that Chris's performance, he was an idiot that liked women. And again,
well, that's why they killed him off.
It's almost like, for whatever reason, they wanted to insult the first two movies. But Rascal always let me know in the past, and I agree with her, and I've learned that lesson from her. If it weren't for the first ones, you wouldn't have the one you love. So even though they want to claim it wasn't good because they didn't own it, because it was
Fox,
20th Century Fox's, you wouldn't have this one, and you couldn't have taken and lifted stuff from those movies to use in here if they weren't there.
Yeah.
Julie Garner as Shala Bao. I hope that's right. Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I think I was pronouncing it wrong before.
From the planet Zenla. And it says she was supposed to move elegantly like a dance. I don't think so.
No,
Sorry.
I read about that. She said she didn't want to do that. She's supposed to pose like a surfer and take lessons, but she thought it'd be more powerful to stand like one of those Greek statues. So that's why she stood for most of the movie. And I'm not making fun of her. She stood majority of the time in that film.
She was okay.
Yeah.
She was okay. So we have Sarah Niles as Lynn Nichols, Mark Gatiss as Ted Gilbert, Natasha Lyonne, Rachel Rosman, Paul Walter Hauser as Harvey Elder Moleman, Ralph Ineson as Galactus, and you also had Matthew Wood voicing the Fantastic Four's robot companion Herbie.
Yes, well, I thought
you know what it stands for. I have to go through it.
It looks like Wally to me.
And then you had cameo appearances by some other people we won't ruin.
Yep, saw it for yourself.
You also had a mid-credit scene.
Yes.
And we're going to mention it because the movie's been gone for a while now, where they already had ruined it. Robbie Downey Jr. makes an uncredited cameo as Victor Von Doom.
Yes.
I think that was one of the dumbest things they've ever done in their life in terms of announcing it before the movie. It would have been a fantastic end credit if they had never mentioned it, they had never told it, never shared it. And then you saw it here. Everyone would have lost their minds, including the ones who were like, I don't think I want to see him as Doom because he's been a hero, but it would have been fantastic
Yeah.
to have it at the end and never have told it.
Yeah.
But Disney has diarrhea mouth and they can't do that.
And they talk about Tom Holland.
So we know the movie was well received, and we know people are looking forward to the second one.
Yes.
But what are your thoughts, guys? What do you think of the Fantastic Four First Steps? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. Have you seen it? Did you see it, I mean to say, in the theaters or digitally on DVD? And if you haven't seen it, it's available probably on Disney Plus.
Yeah, by now they have it on there.
And
all
to
their Marvel
purchase on
collection.
DVD. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and give it a watch.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
We like Superman better, but it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, if you're
and it
asking
did a
us to
good
choose.
job of being a superhero movie compared to the other slot that Marvel has put out recently. This was a definite improvement,
Yeah.
and we would give it a B+.
Yes,
I think so,
absolutely.
B+. A minus, B+, which one?
I'll say A minus.
A minus. I agree. So, tell us your thoughts in the comments below.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates of big videos for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, you
You
are
are
our special.
specials. Thank you so much for watching Mask Entertainment.
And in Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.